Hi, hello, and namaste. Welcome to the third chapter of LinkedIn Local Kolhapur, where we are going to explore the insights of National Education Policy 2020. Friends, in year 1968 came the India's first national education policy in Indira Gandhi's government. In 1986 came India's second education policy in Rajiv Gandhi's government, which was modified in year 1992 under the leadership of P.V. Narasimha Rao. And now, after the wait of 35 years, with a momentous move of new national education policy, it is all set to revamp Indian education sector. However, at this juncture, and argue of how it can be the potential turning point and that can make or break the future of Indian education system, we at LinkedIn Local Kolhapur are going to analyze the policy from the lenses of practitioners. And for this, no better way to understand the potential impact of this reform rather than one of the crucial stakeholder of Indian education sector. So without a further ado, let me introduce the man of the moment, a human being who is the most amicable personality, humble and charismatic aura, who has taken his works to whole new level that only people can dream to achieve of. From the quality of education to engaging atmosphere, everything has grown with his Midas touch. A truthful academician, skillful orator, and genuine researcher. Recipients of numerous accolades, including Shivaji University's Barrister P.G. Patil Best Teacher Award, acknowledging the impact of his work. He is a chairperson of Indian Pharmaceutical Association's Education Division and principal of Tatyasaheb College of Pharmacy, Warananagar. Yes, you guessed right. I'm talking about the pool of positivity and epitome of awesomeness, Dr. John D'Souza, sir. Sir, welcome to the LinkedIn Local Kolhapur 3.0.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much for the nice introduction, Gaurav.
Pleasure, sir. It's absolutely pleasure. And we're delighted to have you here at LinkedIn Local Kolhapur 3.0.
My pleasure too.
Sir, before we move to the actual conversation, I would like to wish you a very happy Teachers' Day from my end and thousands of students out there whom you have guided across the way.
Happy Teachers' Day to all of you, and in particular to Professor Vandana ma'am, who is also listening to this particular live broadcast. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Sir, national education policy, I think this is the game-changing moment of Indian education system. Somewhere I personally believe that all the intellectuals and education leaders of country have tried to construct best possible inputs for the future and develop the country. Kudos to the government of India and core leadership of country.
Indeed.
Sir, we will be going through all the points and facts of national education policy. So I'll be directly diving it straight into the conversation.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Sir, do you think is it the right time that government have decided implementing national education policy?
Yeah, we all know that a few days back, Government of India, in particular MHRD Ministry, have declared the draft on National Education Policy 2020. Under the chairmanship of Honorable Padma Vibhushan Dr. K. Kasturiranjan and 10 others eminent personalities in education, and particularly this, if you look at this particular draft, which takes actually the cognizance of all the areas in education. From if you look at the draft itself, which is classified into four. The one is the school education. The second one is higher education. Chapter 3 is all about other key areas, which include professional education, adult education, and particularly how one can infuse technology in the education. And chapter 4 speaks about making it happen, means how one can implement this policy to see that the education is revamped. So I believe this is most welcome step being taken by India's leader, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Ji Modi ji, as well as the MHRD Minister Honorable Ramesh Pokhriyal ji, and entire of his team. Now, answer to your question, is it the right time? Then you only mentioned that this policy is revised last 35 years back in 1986. So what was the education before that and after that? So in brief, we need to know at least some history of Indian education. So when we talk about Indian education 1000 years back, we used to lead on the globe, but particularly we were known as a Vishwaguru, right? With in particularly like Vedic kind of education and Gurukul system. And what has happened when we actually passed through the British ruling? So here one should understand what has happened during British ruling. In 1835, Thomas Babington Macaulife's most controversial statement says that India is not needing any gurus, but absolutely needing babus who can work in British offices, right? So this was a major change, and if you could see, then onward the universities have set up, like say initial universities in 1857 are pride of India, as if like University of Bombay, then University of Kolkata and Madras have set in 1857 with the same motto, generating professionals, but babus kind of like who are graduate in humanities and language. And this continued still till the date, you can say, maybe till 1980. What was the situation of higher education or general education in India when we got freedom. In 1947, we were with 20 universities and 496 colleges with only enrollment of students 2,41,369. Okay, but if you could see, then we continued with similar education and language and humanities till 1980, and then 1980 there was a major revamp. We started setting institutions catering the education in technical education and professional education too. So IITs, IIMs been started setting, and then even engineering colleges. And basically, when we look at the education system, you will come to know that Indian education system actually suffers from many of the drawbacks. Like few of the drawbacks this eminent members of this policy could identify are the inability to serve the purpose, right? So in a later discussion, we may probably understand what is actually the purpose of the education. Inability to actually develop the Indian citizen and global citizen, which are really responsible and contributing. There is a discrimination between private and public, and if you could see, it is highly fragmented. And as I could notice that teacher have lost his image, right? So basically, if you could look at, we lost that our ancient pride, which was there 1,000 years back, maybe because of the Gurukul system like Nalanda, Takshila, Vikramshila, and even Vallabhi. So to actually solve these issues, and one more thing which is also very important, that in 2015 United Nations have declared 17 most important sustainable goals that are very useful as far as sustainable development is concerned. And out of those 17, fourth one is equitable, inclusive, and quality education to all, so that everyone gets equal opportunity to progress in their life. So if not late, I personally feel this is the high time to see that this policy been implemented.
Gorgeous. Even I was interpreting the same, sir.
Yeah.
So moving ahead, what is your perspective? What does the National Education Policy 2020 aims to achieve?
See, basically, aims and objectives of this policy is very simple, that every citizen of India expects. So we are very proud of being Indian, right? We all are
Absolutely, sir.
Bharatians. So if we could see that Bharat has been transformed into the global knowledge power, okay, this is what we aim out of this policy. And this is only possible, it is very well understood that it is only possible if you could transform students into responsible, contributing, and I should say sensitive but strong citizens, not only Indian. And I'm forcefully saying not only Indian. We want to have citizens of India which are with very deep pride about India, not in only words, not in only thoughts, but also in intellect, but also in spirit, as well as into deeds. If we have,
Yes.
if we don't have values for Indian Constitution, if we don't have consent towards actually fundamental duties of ours, roles and responsibilities of ours as a citizen, then it is senseless. You could just make it out. What is happening in today's education system is Indian government is spending lot of money on in developing IITians or IIMs graduates, as well as maybe medical graduates from AIMS and all. But what is the share of these all graduates in the development of India as a country? So these people, there is a heavy brain drain. These people actually are serving to some other nation, or they are shaping their career somewhere abroad, right? So this is very important to understand that the basic aim is to see that student is transformed into responsible citizen of India, and not only that, again the international or global citizen. Why? Because now the problems are, because of internationalization, the problems are global, right? So if we don't sense those all problems, what is happening with the environment, what is the global warming, what is the like pollution issues, then how could we see that these all problems be addressed and solved by research in education? So particularly we wanted to have students been transformed into global citizen, which will be very knowledgeable, skillful, and with a set of values and dispositions. So four things which are very important: knowledge, skills, values, and dispositions, so that these people can address human rights, issues about human rights, issues about sustainable development, as well as global well-being. So the aim, in summarization, the aim of this policy to see that actually student is transformed into a competent Indian, competent, sensible, sensitive, responsible Indian and global citizen, which can transform the quality of life and the global well-being.
Gorgeous. So I guess this is what was been anticipated by thousands of people out there. So moving ahead, like, do you feel that the national education policy is been copied or is been influenced by other foreign countries or by any particular country?
To actually make this understand, we need to understand some basic fundas, like how do we measure the growth of any of the country? And we all know this is measured by GDP, right? Gross domestic
Absolutely.
products. But this concept have actually gone outdated. Now the countries, because it actually only concentrates on economic development. The country's growth, country's ranking in the world is importantly been now measured maybe from 1990 somewhere by SPI, Social Progress Index. So what is the social progress of in actually different countries are? The country which is doing good in SPI is supposed to be called as, is accepted rather to be as a developed country. So this particular SPI, Social Progress Index, is actually measured by 54 indicators, which actually speaks about whether that country is satisfying the need of their citizens, whether that country is actually giving the full support for their citizens well-being and equal opportunity to progress. So if this has been achieved, what we can actually do to see that citizen of India, citizen of the country is socially and economically progressing? And this is understood, this is very well understood, this is very well accepted that this is possible only by because of quality, vibrant, equitable, inclusive, quality education to all. It is not only the education, but it is the vibrant, equitable, enjoyable, experiential, and more particularly inclusive, so that everyone can have the access education to all, right? This is very important, and this is rightly been proved by, I'll give you one example for this: Finland. So Finland was somewhere at 90th position in 1995, and because of educational revamp, it could reach to first position in 2016, and the country was on the first position for many years. What is last year SPI is? Last year SPI is Finland stands fourth with 89.90% of SPI, while Norway is topping now.
Crazy.
So what is SPI of India right now? 2019's SPI of India is 59.1%. So probably this must be a thought to see that we are on 102th position. Okay. So
can you give me just few examples that what all things have been practiced in Norway and in
yes,
Finland?
yes, that is what I'm saying. If you look at the education systems of these all countries which are doing fantastic in SPI, you will come to know that features are very similar. One is ECCE, that is early childhood care and education. Then inclusivity, equity, access, affordability, flexibility, multidisciplinarity, holistic development of student, right? Then multilingualism, then empower teachers, autonomy to the teachers, autonomy to the institutions, then high quality research in academic institutions. If you look at these all features, you will come to know that these all are now introduced in, rather highly been emphasized in this India's NEP. So I don't feel that it is copied, but I'm 100% sure that learned members of this committee must have read, must have studied all these national policies of different developed countries.
Definitely, sir. I think this is the absolute blend of perfect education implementation in the country.
Indeed.
So, moving ahead, if the policy is been implemented, how the school education is going to be revamped?
Actually, revamping school education is the beauty of this policy. If you could look at, there are major, changes been possibly be happening with this policy. The basic system of 10+2 education will be transformed now into 5+3+3+4. Everyone must have read this, right?
Yes, sir.
So what is this 5+3+3+4? Initial 5 is from age of 3 to 6 is Anganwadi and Balvatika. Then followed by 2 years, first and second standard, together will be called as fundamental education. So till second standard, it is fundamental education. Followed by standard 3 to 5, it is preparatory. Then standard 6 to 8, it is middle stage, and from standard 9 to 12, it is secondary stage. So there are many questions actually in the sphere. So there will not be board exams or many such issues. But I don't feel so. The value of whatever board exams and all will be decreased. But it is very sure that the way we conduct the exams is going to be revamped. Okay, so if you could look at the how this system is going to actually revamp, as I was mentioning, what are the common features of different international education policies. These all things have been introduced into Indian education policy also, and which one should see one by one. The first one is ECCE, that is early childhood care and education. So why this is very important? Because see, basically child's cumulative brain develops till the age of 6. 85% of child's 85% is not a small small quantity of development. It is like 80, and it is developed in early age only, up to age of 6. So if some students are deprived of the basic needs like health, and they're deprived of education because of the background, then it is very bad, and which is what been observed in India also. So these group is actually called as SEDGS, like socially economically disadvanced groups. So one has to concentrate on that, and you should see that it is actually been aimed that India will have 100% of ECC till 2030. So 10 years from here, each and every child of India will get ECCE, that is early childhood care and education. And how this is going to be? It is going to be very flexible, multifaceted, enjoyable, all activity based, inquiry based, play based, and so on. Why? Because if you could say this, this is very important, because now how we develop our kids, if you try to relate with this, you will understand that during the nurturing of our own kids, we keep on scolding them not to touch anything which is valuable, or don't allow them to
Yes,
do
sir.
any creative things. This is very bad, I'm going to tell you. And this ECCC says that all three domains of child's brain, like cognitive, affective, and psychomotor, are should to be developed, right? This is one ECC. Second is attaining fundamental literacy and numeracy. So what is happening as far as today's literacy and numeracy is concerned? It is one of the survey which says that India is in learning crisis, and 5 crores of elementary school students are not been able to even with fundamental literacy and numeracy, right? So this is
Yes,
very bad, and if this is not addressed quickly, then it is going to be very horrible. So this is to be addressed.
indeed.
It is actually been said that by 2025 the fundamental numeracy and literacy has to be achieved, and this is
Yes,
rightly to be done by, there are many components with which we can do this. As I was saying, SCDGS is what is the group of children that are needed to be addressed, and this can be possible by various measures to be taken, like filling all teacher vacancies, right? Then checking that you are maintaining with the pupil to teacher ratio. If that is very high, then it may not be possible for the teacher to actually look at the every children's development, right? To monitor that closely,
right.
and to support that pupil teacher ratio is to be maintained to 30:1 and 25:1 for SCDGS, right? Then
Yes,
empowering
sir.
teacher is also very essential. Then there has to be, book promotion, national book promotion policy to be set, and what we should do with the kids, because if they're not healthy, how can they learn? So to keep them healthy, government is supposed to provide them nutritious, healthy, not only meal but also breakfast, and with that 100% of immunization and frequent checkup. If that is not done, then you could see that kids or children are attending the schools, and they are sitting so that this fundamental numeracy and literacy is achieved. We are facing one more problem, that is dropouts. India is facing one more problem that in education, and that is dropouts. NSSO, National Sample Survey Office, surveys these all things, and 2017-18 surveys say that there are 3 crores 22 lakhs dropouts in the schools. So where is the question of attending 100% of GR in school education? So
Right.
government feels that if we do, it has been aimed again that we should be able to attend 100% of GR in school education. See, this is very important. 100% GR to be achieved by 2030. And this can be possible if we could address again those disparities. Few of the kids may not be able to actually attend these schools because they have language barriers, because they have culture barriers. So if those all to be addressed, then we will have to infuse the technology even, so that we can introduce some open learning, open distance learning programs also. So it is a need of our to set SIOS, and that is State Institute of Open Schooling. So government is supposed to take various measures to see that the enrollments of the students are GR of the students in the school education is addressed. The another issue is regarding curriculum and pedagogy. Many of the time when I ask students, do you enjoy learning? They say no, but they enjoy playing, they enjoy singing. They, what is this? So until and unless we see that our students are enjoying the education, it is not possible. So how can we do this? If we could address the curriculum and pedagogy nicely, with making it, this is how it is, holistic. How can we make it holistic? Marathi mein we call it as samagra. So how holistic development is possible if you could integrate it with many more things, like what children actually do to enjoy to do. So make it enjoyable, make it engaging, and integrate it with sports and arts. Have basically teachers which are with all that integrity, as if like mentors and guru. So it is again to be done by seamless integration of sports and as we do in our college also, that integration with sports and other activities, so that we can make it more enjoyable and more engaging, right? Then instilling skills and values. And more importantly, in school education, one should concentrate on, see, basically, we should not, because today's education is just mean for rote memorizing. Okay, you read it, you mug up it, and you omit it in the examination. That's all the school education.
Absolutely, sir. This is what we do.
Yeah, when we get 100% marks, 200 students with 100% marks in board examination. So this is amazing, right? But when you ask them to do simple things like go to the market and bring this and that, and what is the change you bring bought, actually brought back, then you will come to know that they're facing various problems as far as their routine life is concerned. So basically those all skills, it is very well understood that the fundamental of good education is idea generation, then problem solving ability, and not only that, whatever we have learned through the education, through the teaching learning system, students should be able to apply it in their day-to-day life, and even in solving the problems, in making the decisions. Not only this, one more concept is also been introduced, that is GCAD. And what is that? Global Citizen Education. So as I said, uh, uh, if we really want to see that Indian higher education is developing technocrats, highly skilled, competitive professionals, you have to sit in the school education. You have to actually start taking steps in the school education itself. And here you should be actually making school students aware of the global issues, the global technologies, like say for example artificial intelligence, like machine learning. Okay, then what are the different health and environmental issues that presently we all are facing. Presently we are facing pandemic also. So so students should have, if suppose your kid is moving here and there without mask, after so many of campaigning been done by the government and different NGOs, then it is not a good education. I'll let you know that. So so there has to be again increased sense in the kids about these all things, these all global happenings. And along with this, we also feel that because our Indian education history was glorious, we want to bring it back, and we wanted to inculcate those all actually belongingness, to see that the students can take up history, culture, and values of India, right?
Yes, sir.
Basically, as I said, that curriculum and pedagogy is again to be revamped. With the same time, we should not assess what student have wrote memorized. Okay, but the assessment of the student, the examinations of the student should be continuous. So board exam will be there, but board exam will be throughout the year. Okay, It will be continuous, and it will be by choice based credit system. It will, because students will have flexibility to select their subjects. Few will be compulsory, otherwise will be like choice based. Then
Can you please throw some light on what is grade-based?
that I will, that because it is more important in higher education, I will tell you there itself.
Yes, sir.
Choice based means student, the education will be, if at all, okay, I'll explain it in a brief. If at all you are very much interested in physics, but with the same time you wanted to learn music together, then you have a choice. And if suppose a pharmacy student comes and then he asks for sir, I want something to do with sports event, so we don't have scope right now because there are rigid boundaries between. So,
Yes, sir.
this is to be actually done with the choices to the student, and each and every participation, each and every performance of the student is noted, and the grades will be given on the basis of overall performance and not only in the final examinations, which is mainly checks the memorization, rote memorization, and nothing else. So
Right.
assessment will be continuous, assessment will be competency based, right? Assessment will be higher order skill based. So what these higher order skills are? Today's examination, there are some exceptions also. Few of the institutions examinations do check how much of learning is actually affected. This is what is actually needed. So whether students have understood the concept, whether student can use it in analytical thinking, or whether the critical thinking has actually affected. So these all things are supposed to be assessed as per as assessment
Like,
or
how
examination
does they
report.
do these things? Like, what all things have been included in the assessment?
So this will be possible, say it will not be possible with the routine examinations, right? So
Definitely.
we will involve students in various activities, whatever they want to do. And we will have to have a technology based understanding whether they are improving or not. So generally
Yes.
we do this in the school. When once we finish with 10th and 12th, then we go for something like aptitude test, right? And
Yes.
which say you about these all areas wherein he or she is interested. So there are some actually measures that are known to the entire education fraternity, which can be included to see that this can happen. The continuous and formative kind of, the previous one, existing one is a summative assessment, while this assessment is called as formative assessment. This is followed by regained teachers respect. So if teachers are not respectful and knowledgeable and empowered, how could they transform those energies into the students?
Indeed.
So recruitment, see, basically, if you compare with few of the developed countries, the teachers are most respected, right? Today only
Yes,
I
sir.
received one message which was saying uh, a statement of Aristotle, right? Aristotle said that if you do, you understand, and if you understand, you can teach. So
Definitely.
how many of teachers we have which who actually do and understand and then do teach? Gaurav, there is disturbance from your side. Yeah,
Yeah.
there is disturbance from some other side. Why this is so? Okay. So how this can be addressed? The teachers has to be empowered. The teacher needs to be with regained respect, and this can be done by recruitment of the students on. Hello,
Yes, sir. You are able.
where is the noise from? Recruitment and deployment. Then Okay.
Yes, sir.
Please, please mute yourself, Gaurav, when I'm speaking, because I'm getting disturbance from your side. Then vibrant, caring, and inclusive service environment for the teachers. Then there is an introduction of one concept called as CPD, that is continuous professional development, which is actually should be at least 50 hours a year. So all teachers should undergo 50 hours of continuous professional development. Then CMP, which speaks about actually the career management program, which means that teachers should have equal opportunity to progress in all the domains, and this progress will be actually recognized by the vertical mobility, maybe getting the opportunities into school complexes or into the government jobs with whatever the hierarchy is. So it is understood that until and unless we do it absolutely merit based, it is not possible. So recruitment and promotions are going to be robust and merit based, right? Then there is a suggestion to set NPST, which is National Professional Standards for Teacher, and existing NCTE, that is National Council for Teachers, will be in different role as PSSB, that is Professional Standard Setting Body. So there are major revamps which are going to happen, and it is also been advised to set NCFT, that is National Curriculum Framework for Teachers Education. So teachers education needs to be addressed in an emergent way, so that the teachers what this particular vibrant education system expects can be developed by various measures being taken by the government, and NCFT will be set by 2021 itself. Then another thing is inclusive and equitable education to all. So whatever, if as I was saying, if you could see, no child should be deprived for any reason, like because of circumstances and background, should be kept deprived of education. And this is because of disparities, and disparities are because of gender, disparities are because of caste, disparities are because of the location, because village students are with less access to the education. Then disparities may be because of physical disabilities, the disparities are maybe because of different income groups, and disparities are because of culture and languages. So if we could address these all issues, which are causing disparities, then probably we could see that this education can be made more equitable and inclusive. So what is to be done? The remedies are like identifying aspiration districts. So what is this aspiration districts? So if you look at the existence of the educational institutions in India, few of the institutions, main number of educations are there in the urban area, while there are very few in rural area. So if you could find out those all districts where the education is not yet reached, then probably we may set some educational institutes in those all areas, and those are called as aspiration districts. Then investing into the gender inclusion, then setting up the good hostel or lodging facilities for the students who are deprived, who are of SCDGS, with the equal standards to that of the Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya. Then empowering or strengthening Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya, then setting more Kendriya Vishwa Vidyalayas, and more importantly, seriously implementing RPWD 2016, that is the Act for Right of Persons with Physical Disability. So if you could address these disparities, then probably we could see that more and more students will be enrolling, and we can address the inclusiveness of the education. The next issue is effective resourcing and governance. So when we see at the governance and availability of infrastructural resources, it is understood that single standalone educational institutes suffers from the availability of both the kind of resources, may it be physical infrastructure, may it be human resource wise. And this has been addressed by advocating a system called as school clusters or school complexes. So instead of single standalone schools, there will be school clusters and school complexes. So by next 15 years, all schools will be converted into school complexes. Okay, so there is a, how to do that. Then you can, the schools from 5 to 10 kilometer circumference need to come together. There should be twinning and pairing of the schools, because with this you could see that there you can improvise in human resource, you can improvise in physical infrastructure, you can improvise in the governance also, you can run various activities, and it is advocated to have various clubs and circles, maybe subject wise, activities wise, and it is actually aimed that these all schools should be observed like Samajik Chaitna Kendra. So if anything goes good in community that if you really feel proud of, then to be celebrated in these all schools. As schools are going to be Samajik Chaitna Kendra. So this is done, means all these will be because even authorities like Directorate of School Education, like district education and block education officers may have better access with these all campuses, and there can be close, though not interfering, kind of regulation on activities happening into these all school complexes. And it is advised to have development plan, SCDPS, which is called a school complex development plan, which is to be set, which is to be set by SCMC, that is School Complex Management Committee, not only setting but actually observing that these all development plans are actually expedited. And one more thing which is very important again is setting the standards and accrediting the school education. We do nothing as of now, but we should see that all these school complexes, because maybe like 15 years back there will not be any standalone school, right? There will be school complexes, and whether these school complexes will be continuously serving the purpose is also necessarily to be checked. So standards are supposed to be set with see, regulation will be tight but light. So this is another feature of this particular policy. The education is going to be tight but light. It will be tight for those which are mischievous, but it will be light and supporting for those who are really doing good. Okay, so if it should be empowering the entire stakeholders, students, teachers, management, institutions, everyone should be empowered, and it will be very supportive. Now today's governance is like is like rectorship, taking hunter and giving punishments. But this is not good kind of governance. Governance needs to be supportive also. Guidance and regulation, it is always should be in a pattern of guidance and regulation. So all kind of support will be provided as far as achieving the excellence is concerned, ensuring the integrity is concerned, and the school complexes are going to be basically the most important thing that one should understand, that education is not supposed to be as a profit making business. So you cannot earn from the education, and if at all you are earning, you have to invest in education. This is a fundamental of whatever the school and higher education is. So the educational complexes should have, the school complexes should have the complete transparency in all the three aspects. One is financial, second one is operational, and the third one is educational outcome wise. So three things which are very important for any of the school. One is the financial probity. The second one is procedures, operations, activities been taking place. And third one is educational outcome. So if we could not develop a kid which is sensible and with the potential to be competent person, contributing for the society and very sensitive toward the issues, maybe at country level as well as the global level, then it is in vain. So to address this, various authorities will be set, like SQAAF, that is School Quality Assessment and Accreditation Framework, SQAAF. And one more authority is going to be set, which is called as PARAK. PARAK is Performance Assessment, Review and Analysis of Knowledge for Holistic Development. So with this, it is ensured that the school education will be revamped in such a way that all kids, all children of India will get chance. Rather, it is to be ensured that there is 100% GR with vibrant school activities and with a lot of motivating things for all the stakeholders of school education is. Private philanthropic activities will also be funded. It's not that private school education will not be promoted. It will be, but as I said, it will be with the fundas that it is going to be light and tight. Those who are good performing, if you're performing, then you will be actually promoted to operate abroad also. This is what is the beauty of this policy is. Yes.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. I wish this could be not implemented when we were schooling. Like, if I could break down this point of school education, I think it boils down to the perfect blend for the toppers as well as backbenchers, with all the holistic things.
So basically, this is what is supposed to be done, because there is a discrimination between public and private. Because yes, there is discrimination between student and naughty student. This at all should not happen.
Right.
Because every student has some talents, and education system should see that whatever his or her talent is should be made useful for the development. This is what is the funda of this education policies.
It's really amazing, sir. It's a great initiative. Sir, moving ahead, what all changes can be expected when it is concerned to the higher education?
Yeah, I was expecting this because once you asked about school education, I was thinking that now you will ask about higher education only.
And sir, this is not from my end. This is the most asked question for you.
Acha, because maybe I am from higher education. How can I speak about school education? Is it so?
No, not as such, but you could throw more light on this particular thing.
Okay, because I have been experienced with this.
Yes, sir.
So before we actually try to understand how this higher education, Gaurav, you can please mute because it will take a lot of time to speak on this. It's a big thing that most of the pages are being covered by revamps in higher education. So you can relax for 10-15 minutes at least, even more than that. So what is today's higher education as of India is concerned? So we are with 993 universities, 50,000 plus HEIs. HEIs is higher education institutions, out of which 10,000 plus are standalone. So there is a skewed distribution. Skewed distribution means they're not uniformly spread throughout India. In few of the areas, it is more concentrated, and in the few of the areas, there are no educational institutes for the miles together, right? So these are highly populated in few of the states, and you can say densely populated, and those are like very scattered in remaining states. So as far as GR in higher education is concerned, it is 26.3%, which is also very less. One can Google and check how much is the GR of other countries also. And importantly, even the GR is 26.3. It is more in few of these states, because only 8 states have better GR. And the highest number of these higher education HEIs are there in only 8 states, including UP. UP is presently topping, followed by Maharashtra and few other states. While in remaining states, other than what those 8 states are, there is a scarcity of higher education also, right? And these actually this particular higher education is suffering from many drawbacks. I will try to say few of those drawbacks. One is no appointments of teachers in public sector. So if that is government higher educational institutes, no professors, right? Then very less employability. We produce graduates, but whether they're employable, whether they're with the potential of employability is a question, right? Then, as I was saying, there is a heavy brain drain, right? People are learning here, that making a use of government money, and they're helping developed countries to develop further. Then autonomy is not granted to many of the institutions. Few institutions are full autonomy, while many of the institutions are with no autonomy. And we try to give autonomy also, but bad luckily, it is adversely affecting the examination quality also. So examination standards are declining in few of the institutions where autonomy is granted. Okay. The basic, the objectives of this higher educations are not served. What are those basic objectives? Like quality, equity, access, affordability, these are not yet served. These are highly fragmented, and if you could see that there is a rigid boundary, what I said to you previously also, that somebody who is doing, say, wanted to take astrophysics cannot take music along with. So there is a rigid boundary between various disciplines. Then inadequate CPD and CMPs. So as I was saying, CPD means, if you could remember, CPD means continuous professional development, while CMP means career management programs. So these are not up to the mark. So lesser emphasis is given, as far as assessment is concerned, lesser emphasis is given on rote memorizing and not on the actually those all higher order skills which are to be developed into the graduates also. The governance and the leadership of the higher educational institution is not to the mark. It is suboptimal. Then less effective regulatory monitoring is not even been able to curb the commercialization, right? And you could see that there are large affiliating universities. Kolhapur 300 colleges, Mumbai 100, Pune 100 colleges, sorry, 1000 plus colleges been affiliated with the very poor standard graduate and postgraduate programs, and very less emphasis has been given as far as research is concerned. So to address these all issues, various measures are suggested and needed to be taken, like setting quality multidisciplinary higher education systems. So as it was in a school education, it was school complexes. Now it will be in higher education, it will be multidisciplinary universities, or it will be multidisciplinary higher educational institutions, right? Enhance environment for the learning and support systems for the students. Then motivated, energized, capable faculty. Then ensuring equity, inclusion. Gaurav, you are laughing. I think you must be actually comparing with your professors. Then equity and inclusion of higher education. Then rethinking or reimagining the vocational education. Then catalyzing the research. Then transforming the regulatory system, and then ensuring the effective governance and leadership. I'll go one by one. One is the more holistic and multidisciplinary education. So what is this? As I said, the higher education will be with seamless integration of whatever disciplines we take. So if we take art, then it has to be integrated with STEM, like science, technology, engineering, maths, whatever it is. Second, it should be with consistent positive outcomes. And as I say, it is not only outcome will not be checked by marks in the examination, but outcome will be checked by what kind of graduates you are producing, whether the graduates are creative, innovative, what activities are happening, whether there is any innovation taking place, whether graduates have been able to think critically, whether the problem solving ability is instilled, then what is the communication skill, whether the people have been able to work in teamwork, then with improved research, improved social awareness, increased engagement into the social activities, and development of higher order skills in all the domains. Like it's not, as I always remember the statement by Daniel Goleman, who said that success is not governed by intelligent quotient. Though it is governed, it will be only contributing 10%, and remaining 90% is contributed by emotional quotient, which includes self-realization, self-discipline, self-motivation, empathy, and social skills. So graduates needs to be intellectually, emotionally, ethically, physically, socially capable. So developing, actually checking these all outcomes, then as I said, choice-based credit system, then multiple exits. This is one of the fundamental things that one should understand. If suppose I'm taking pharmacy, then I wanted to discontinue at the first year itself, so I can exit. But while I am exiting the education, it is not a loss of 1 year, because when I'm exiting, I may get 1 year certificate, so which I can take, to shape up my career. So there can be multiple exits. Then more research internships will be given. Curriculum is going to be flexible. I gave you the example also. If suppose I am doing pharmacy, then probably I may take nutrition as or dietitian as one of the dietetics as one of the optional subject. Then this education system is again going to be value based. If we could develop a person who is mechanically intellect but know any values, not positive attitude, then what is the use of it? So it is required to be value based also, with special emphasis on the Indian culture, which speaks about satya, dharma, shanti, prem, ahimsa, seva. With the same time, so as if you could understand the objective is to transform student into a responsible citizen of India and the globe. It is not only to make him Indian citizen, but GCED, that is Global Citizenship Education, is also to be provided. So this can be done by by providing opportunities to the students on the projects, like which will enhance their community engagement, as well as which will make them involved with addressing those all global issues, like environmental issues like climate change, pollution, waste management, sanitation, then conservation of biodiversity, conservation of wildlife, and so on. That there is going to be better collaboration with industry institutes and research institutes also. Government is planning to have setting up of MERUs, like multidisciplinary educational and research universities. MERUs, which are going to be equivalent to that of the IITs. These MERUs will come in big number, and they will be with equivalent qualities to that of the IITs and IIMs. So this is about how the reforms are going to happen, making it more holistic and making it multidisciplinary. Then the next what is concerned is optimal learning environment. So how we can do this? How we can have optimal learning environment? As I was saying, that the curriculum needs to be more interesting, more relevant, and more updated. You know what is the frequency of curriculum is in nowadays. So this is going to be very frequent now. Then engaging pedagogy. So if I don't enjoy learning, then how can I learn? How can the education be possible? So to make students more engaged in, we need to tender higher quality education, and we should be, if we take, say for example, if we bring some animation, if we make some videos, then the interest will be increased. Like use of technology is also advocated. Then assessment continuous and formative instead of summative, which will be checking, which is going to be scientific, and which will be checking the development of higher order skills, basic knowledge, and then higher order skills, and then providing all those infrastructural facilities which students actually deserve, to see that the real holistic transition has occurred, right? So this all will be possible if we integrate the academic disciplines. Then if we could, basically this particular policy also advocate the internationalization of India's culture, which is called as Indiology, wherein India's culture, history, and those all things are supposed to be studied, and not only by Indian students, by international students even. Because, for example, Ayush, right? Ayush means we have our own traditional means of medical treatments, and if that has been studied by international students also, it's good, right? So this will be more promoted more. Then what is again suggested is to have various clubs and circles in the colleges, so that you can have more vibrant campus life, so that students can have more opportunities to develop. Because ultimately we need to gain our pride, the ancient pride, to be as a Vishwa Guru, right? So those, it is again, I said that those higher educational institutes which are performing good will be supported or promoted to perform abroad. Best 100 foreign universities and HIs be promoted to operate in India also, right? And measures to be taken, because even GR in higher education is not according to the expectation. So measures needs to be taken to include SCDGs, socio economically disadvantaged groups of students so that there can be more and more inclusion. And these all will be funded by the government also, right? The next is motivated, energized, and capable faculty. It is rightly understood that success of higher education is directly proportional to the quality of teachers and engagement of the teachers. If we have quality teachers, but those are not finding themselves engaged, then what is the use? So success of higher education is directly proportional to the quality and engagement of faculty. So the teacher and faculty needs to be performing best in all the domains. Three important domain of each of the teacher is teaching learning, research, and community engagement. So it is not because I teach in the class, my job is finished. No. So teacher should be again involved in good quality research as well as higher level of community services and community engagements. So as I was saying, that we need to see that teachers are regaining their respect. So it's not only society will not start all of a sudden after implementation of this policy. So society will start respecting you. If teacher is feeling like this, it is not at all possible. Like it is like dream which is never come true. So teacher with higher level of integrity, credibility, efficacy, and high quality as far as knowledge, values, and dispositions are concerned is expected by this particular higher education policy, right? So the measures will be taken to systematize recruitments, to actually maintain the student teacher ratio, then to make it more equitable presence, because all even there can be disparities in teachers also. So they also needs to be actually included. Then CPDs and CMPs, then providing them the good quality infrastructural facilities and freedom in curriculum and pedagogy. Am I okay? Am I audible rightly? Yeah. Then teacher education is also needed to be playing very important role. Here one should understand that Justice J.S. Verma Commission 2012 found that we have 10,000 teacher educational institutes, but unfortunately they are providing the education which are not as far as the quality is concerned. The quality is not up to the mark, and they're not putting serious efforts. Rather they are selling degrees for price. So these all teacher educational institutions are also supposed to be transformed into multidisciplinary higher educational institutions by 2030. So no separate teacher educational institution, but teacher education will also be provided in a same multidisciplinary campus. Then it is advised to have NTA for all qualifying examinations. It is advised to see that the portals, the national repositories like Swayam, Diksha are to be used for even teachers education also. So again, it is advised to have a national mission for mentoring to set a pool of outstanding retired and senior faculties. This is what is another thing. And then is ensuring equity and inclusion. As I said, until and unless we remove the disparities, there will not be equity and inclusion as far as higher education is also concerned. So there are few roles to be played by government and few roles to be played by institutions of higher education. The role to be played by government is funding the education for SCDGs, then enhancing the gender balance, then setting clear goal of GR in higher education, setting HEIs in aspiration districts, more outreach program, more scholarships for SDGs, use of technology, and use of languages also, local languages also. So education is going to be transformed to see that English is not that important as that is nowadays, but transforming knowledge, whatever is the language, it will be more important. And HEIs to play again few important role, wherein particularly it has been said that HEIs should actually be working in alignment with the government while promoting and expediting and implementing the policies being set by government, as well as mitigating the cost with the fees. So again, this is very important that higher education is also to be existing not for profit making, but it is like public responsibility. So this is again very important. Hello. Am I audible? Yeah. I could see that, Gaurav. Okay, done. Next is reimagined vocational education. As far as vocational education is concerned, it is observed that Indian people with the age from 9 to 24, they're exposed with the vocational education only by 5%, while exposure of vocational education is very high. It is 52% in USA, it is 75% in Germany, and it is up to 90%, 96% in Korea. So vocational education is also advised to be mainstreamed. Like today's issue is what there is no vertical transition of vocational education to the professional or mainstream education, while this education is also considered as inferior. So the remedies on vocational education will be basically to see that by 2025, this vocational education will be exposed to 50% of higher educational students. So this will be through a concept called as Lok Vidya. So the students who are learning in higher educational institutions, out of whatever students, 50% students will be exposed to vocational education by next 5 years. Then this vocational education is required to be integrated with the professional education. Then the vocational education will be entirely based on the mapping of local opportunities and the skill gap analysis. Then there can be more setting up of more incubation centers in higher educational institutes. And as we all know, NSQF, that is National Skill Qualification Framework, which is already in existence. This NSQF, the qualification packs been set by NSQF, are supposed to be made equivalent to the qualification packs internationally, as per as classification of occupation is concerned by International Labour Organization. Another issue is catalyzing academic research. Knowledge creation and research is directly related with the vibrant economy. So this particular policy advocates more and more society needed research. So more of the expenditure right now, what we could see is the investment in the research is 0.69%, which is very less, which is 2.8% sorry, which is 2.8% in America and 4.3% highest in Israel. So it is thought that both quality and quantity of the research in academic institutions are needed to be improved. So more focus will be given on the societal challenges. As I said, these all challenges includes the clean drinking water, the sanitation, the climate change, the healthcare, transportation, population dynamics, air quality, energy, expandable digital marketplace, biotechnology, and rising disruptive technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning. So this policy advocates setting up of a national agency called as NRF, which is called as National Research Foundation, with the four major objectives. One is fund, second is seed, third one is act as liaison, and the fourth one is recognition of research. So fund means this NRF is going to fund all that peer reviewed research which is taking place in all the HEIs. Then seed, with which HEIs and universities will be provided money to set up the infrastructure so that they can conduct research. Then act as a liaison. Then as far as acting as a liaison is concerned, this NRF is going to be as a coordinator as a liaison between the researcher and the government and the research institutions and the industry and the other researchers also. And another duty of this NRF is recognizing outstanding research. So you will probably ask, what is the role of DST, DBT, and UGC and other SERB and other funding agencies which are existing? So these all funding agencies will continue actually funding, but will be in coordination with NRF. So setting of NRF is also one of the very important salient feature of this policy. Then transforming regulatory system. So if we look at the present regulatory system, you will understand that present regulation system is heavy-handed, it is mechanistic, it is disempowering in nature, it is with high concentration of powers with few bodies, which is with conflicts of interest with these all bodies, and it is again with lack of accountability. So the complete overhaul of regulation is also expected. And what is the logic is, these bodies will be with distinct bodies for distinct functions. Like there are four important aspects of regulation. One is core regulation, the second one is accreditation, third one is funding, and the fourth one is academic standard setting. So first, regulation. This regulation will be centrally coordinated by GEC, General Education Council, which is going to implement the regulation which is going to be light and tight, light but tight. So light but tight, but in all the three aspects. As far as three aspects are concerned, those are financial probity, good governance, and then public disclosure. While for accreditation, we will have central authority called as NAC, National Accreditation Council. For funding, HEGC, that is Higher Education Grants Council. And for academic standard setting, it is going to be NHEQF, that is National Higher Education Qualification Framework. So this NHEQF will work in coordination with NSQF, while regulation will actually see that all the HEIs be checked for all the aspects of regulation, all the operations, like from financial probity, then audits, then faculty, then infrastructural, then whatever the procedures and operations are, and whatever the resources, as well as whatever the educational outcomes are. Last and most important aspect of this provisions of higher policy for higher education is the effective governance and leadership. So it is understood that when you see that what is happening in world class best performing HEIs and universities, you will come to know that there are two common features. One is strong self governance. Two common features as far as world class institutions are concerned. One is strong self governance, and second one is outstanding merit based leadership. So these two are supposed to be addressed. HEIs will be transformed into self-governing institution. So by 2035, 15 years from now, all institutions of higher education will be transformed, will be with full autonomy, and will be transformed into self-governing institutions. With, as I said, the autonomy will be graded and will be based on the graded accreditation. And this will be done to see that the institutions of higher education will be pursuing the excellence and innovation. So it is understood that by 2035, all HEIs will be actually self-governing institutions. So for that, we need to have strong board of governance. So it is advocated that, it is advised that each of these HEIs will have BOGs, and these members of these BOGs be selected by rigorous ways, impartial ways, completely merit-based way, and it should be fully competency-based, and should be led by EEC, that is Eminent Expert Committee. And as far as leadership is concerned, this has been said by many of the learners of educational system in India, that Indian education is seriously lacking leadership. This is what not I am saying, but many of the eminent learned people have said. So this leadership is also going to transform, and whatever the leadership position in any of the HEIs or any of the authorities governing higher education, not only higher education but also school education even, will be led by those all persons who are, because their selection is going to be highly academic based. So criteria for selection will be high academic qualification, demonstrated admin, leadership capabilities, and ability to manage the complex situation. So what are the qualities of tomorrow's leaders of Indian higher educational institutions? One is high academic qualification, second is demonstrated admin, third one is leadership capabilities, and the fourth one is ability to manage complex situation. And this is possible only if leader have certain personality attributes, like belief in Indian constitutional values, total understanding about vision of institution, then high commitment toward social responsibilities, belief in teamwork, pluralism. If you are not pluralism, then if you're not following pluralism, if you're always saying I am doing this, that's not a good leader. Ability to work with adverse conditions, ability to work with diverse people, and more importantly, positive outlook. So as far as higher education is concerned,
on this note, I would like to say, I'm talking with the person who's having all these qualities included, and definitely we can see the expected changes for sure in the higher education. What I can say is what all things have been included in the higher education system with people like you heading the institutes. We can definitely see these changes, and the replica of same could be observed in the students who will be graduating.
No, I was supposed to ask you this question, but felt should not ask that because the answer from you was very much expected. The reason because the kind of love you have about me, but it is very fact that every leader should try to see that basically whatever the things are which things are expected as far as revolution in higher education is concerned, they should be always ready to opt and prepare to see that this change is accepted in a nice way.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So on this note, in continuation, I would like to ask, do you really feel like the issues of professional education have been really addressed by this policy?
Professional education is a very small part as far as the policy document is concerned. Not much has been said about professional education, but still whatever is said is definitely been said. So like whatever the professional educational institutions are existing right now, it has been said that those all HEIs catering professional education will be also converted into multidisciplinary HEIs by 2030. So all professional educational institutions have 10 years with them, so that they can be transformed into multidisciplinary HEIs.
Yes.
Now look at when we talk about professional education, because India is all about agriculture, right? So what is happening in agricultural education? See, basic tragedies are there. 9% of agricultural universities with GR of only 1%. So if 9% of institution, at least GR should be 9% or 10%, but it is 1%. So quality as well as the quantity of the professional education being given is still lacking. So it is understood that more of the professional educational institutes will be set, but those all will be multidisciplinary. Not only this, the profession specific incubation centers or technology development centers will also be set in all these multidisciplinary HEIs. Means if it is agricultural college, then it should set agricultural technology park, right?
Yes, sir.
If that is any other, like say for example healthcare institution, then they should be setting healthcare technology park and whatever. So it is understood that more rigorous professional education is to be provided, and because this is very essential, because that should be able to address the issues or problems related to those profession. Like for in agriculture, problem is land infertility. So agricultural institution should be able to address and solve the issues of land productivity. Then climate change is affecting the agricultural productivity, so that is also to be addressed. And then will this be, see, because agriculture should be improved to actually serve the food sufficiency.
Right.
So what all measures these institutions can take to see that food sufficiency of growing population is addressed. As far as legal education is concerned, we expect that it should be as competitive as the global legal education. There is very important thing being said as far as healthcare education is concerned. In case of healthcare education, it is said that whoever is taking allopathic education should be knowing basic minimum of Ayush, like Ayurveda, Yoga, then Unani, Siddha, and homeopathy, and vice versa. So those who will be doing any medical degree in Ayush should also be knowing basics of allopathy. Whatever technical education is concerned, technical education actually needs to seek more and more industry and research institution collaboration, because this will increase the employability, which is what, as we all know, that is a very serious problem occurring in technical education. And we should be able to develop the technocrats who can address the issues of cutting edge areas, like for example, like as I was saying, that is artificial intelligence, then machine learning, 3D machining, biotechnology, neurosciences, then genomics, and even big data analysis. Sorry. And this only not to be researched, but their applications should also be studied further in addressing various issues, whether it is environment, whether it is healthcare, or whether it is sustainable living and development. One more important thing that one should understand here, that there will be existence of professional councils, like for example MCI. See, basically what is happening is legal education and medical education will be given some liberty not to transform into multidisciplinary, but no other professional than medical and legal. But in case of other professional educations, whatever these professional councils are, like for example in pharmacy, it is Pharmacy Council of India, Architectural Council, everyone is having councils, right? Those councils can take the membership of GC, General Education Council. So they can become a member of GC, but yes, they can take membership, and they will be there, they will be working, they will continue to work as PSSB, Professional Standard Setting Body, but they will not have any regulatory role. So these are the changes which are going to happen in professional education as far as the implementation of this policy is concerned.
Can I say, like, the recipe would be given by the head chef, but then cooking the food would be dependent upon the particular individual, right? This is how you want.
Yeah, it is absolutely correct. I'll tell you one thing, because many people do ask questions, sir. This policy is speaking about holistic development, but what it is, people will not be able to understand it. But I can tell you simply in a everyday's example, like for example, in our days, the cultivation of us is to be like, mother is to teach peace and love, and father is to be very rigid and is to always teach us discipline. So this is what is to happen with elder age, like people, like we were been cultivated with mother instilling love and peace, and father instilling discipline. So this holistic system also expects similar thing.
Right.
Nowadays, what is happening? Mother and father both instilling love. Nobody wants to, instill discipline, because it is not that easy also. Right. So everyone wants to do something where he or she can succeed, right? Yes. So as you have rightly said, it's absolutely true that recipe is provided, but it's all whether the food will be tasty or not, is all whether the food will be nutritious or not will entirely depends on who is cooking it, right?
Right.
So we need quality leaders, we need quality teachers, then only we need quality infrastructural facilities, we need sensitive faculty. I'll let let me tell you here, this is very important. We have qualified faculty, we have talented faculty, but who is not sensitive towards the discrimination,
Yes, sir.
who is not sensitive towards poor students or socio-economically disadvantaged students or physically disabled students. If I am not empathetic, then I am not good teacher. So those all attributes, those all things is like these are the challenges actually. These are the challenges. How could we bring these all people who can transform the education? Which is actually this policy quotes about expectation. What is going to happen? The time will tell us. Yes.
Gorgeous, sir, gorgeous. So moving ahead, I'm diving into the question that which was the most asked question on the Twitter, I guess. It was full with hashtags with respect to this particular question. So, do this policy promotes Indian culture, arts, and languages?
Yes, because see, basically, India, I feel proud. Every Indian feel proud about India, and not only about India, but values that Indian culture has actually imbibed in us. The culture we treasure. So it is like India is a treasure trove of the human culture developed over 1,000 years, right?
Yes, sir.
So how we can forget it? We cannot forget. We will not create history if we forget the past.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
So arts and language, as if like they are part and parcel of our life.
Indeed.
See, when we talk in Marathi, we feel very, like touching, like apnapan hota hai.
Yes, sir.
So language, arts, and culture are very important because basically, until and unless you see that you are actually doing something in the art, you will not be creative. So few of the domains are to be developed by actually cultivating these all things. If you could see, small kids will understand if you tell very difficult things to them in their language. So it is very important, and we have very rich culture of whatever we say, like Charaka, Shushruta, Bambhatta. You know that Bambhatta's Kadambari, right? That therein where whatever is been said is, until and unless you inculcate those 64 liberal arts, it's not education.
Yes,
So
sir.
education, if you really want to see education has happened, then those all 64 arts are to be taught to the students, so that they can actually use it in their life. So similarly, this policy also feels that our education, our language, our arts, our culture needs to be conserved, treasured, and enhanced. More and more research has to be done in the culture of India, because we really feel that it is really incredible India, and we wanted to say that it can remain incredible for years together, right?
Definitely. Yes, sir.
But tragically, if you could look at what is happening right now, is 220 languages of India are vanishing since last 50 years. UNESCO has pointed out, rather declared, that 197 Indian languages are endangered. So what about the pool of knowledge with whatever those languages are with them?
Indeed.
So that knowledge will also be perishing, right? If the languages are perishing.
Yes, sir.
And this is happening with 22 languages in eighth schedule. Eighth schedule of our Indian Constitution speaks about local languages.
Right.
So 22 languages of eighth schedule of Constitution are also facing serious difficulties. So if we really want to say, for example, I am in Kolhapur, I wanted to know, can I learn Sanskrit? I rarely find a good teacher who can teach me Sanskrit. There is a scarcity of the people who are skilled in those all languages even. So how to address this? This is very difficult thing actually. But if not now, then when we should actually see that this knowledge and this particular pride of ours is not getting vanished. So instant remedies has to be applied at every level, like language and culture and arts, Indian culture should be promoted in not only school education, but also in higher education.
Yes.
And we should see that we should come up with the programs, with the institutions which are catering various academic programs in translation and interpretation, as well as, so this policy advocates setting of IITI, Indian Institute of Translation and Interpretation, along with setting up of various academic institutions which can provide education in administration of art and museum, archaeology, artifact conservation, then graphic design, web design, because we have a data, large data, how we can conserve it, how we can promote it. So similarly, the rigorous efforts needs to be taken. There has to be a vigor to see that everyone is putting some efforts to conserve all these endangered classical, say when we speak in Sanskrit, we feel very good, we feel very proud, right? एक अपनापन आ जाता है जब हम मराठी में बात करते हैं. कोल्हापुरात, when you come and speak in Marathi, लगेच people start saying भावा. So this has to be treasured, and this has to be rather enhanced also. So this can be possible if we could develop web-based platforms, then portals and wikis in this endangered language, may it be Sanskrit, may it be Pali, may it be Persian, may it be Prakrit, and whatever the language has been said in 8th schedule of constitution. And special efforts has to be taken place to see that those people who are with impaired vision and hearing should also learn these languages. So braille kind of technologies has to be developed in local languages also. And it is understood that even you can see that if your institution is multidisciplinary, then like science people will also be working on language. So why can't they take one of the language and research in that?
Right.
Because NRF, National Research Framework, will fund your research in language, art, and Indian culture. So scholarships and funding will be made available for anything that you do as far as preservation and research in language, culture, and arts is concerned.
Gorgeous. That's really great, sir. So, like, as you observed, there were certain technical glitches now because I'm heading towards a similar. Today, we are saying that like India is a country who is using maximum internet or maximum technology. But on the other hand, like, how will be technology used in revolutionizing the Indian education? Because today we observe that there are many villages where internet is yet to reach.
So today, even if you are working from a city, and I am sitting also in a city where we are facing technical glitches, right?
Yes, sir.
So these all necessarily to be addressed, because when we see technology, and when we think technology and education together, they're actually bi-directional. How they're bi-directional? Because we can enhance education by use of technology, and we can enhance education so that we can do the research to address the problems in technology.
Right, sir.
Right? So this is what is actually to be done. And if we start using digital technologies and ICT based techniques, you could see that whatever those objectives of higher education as well as the school educations are, we can easily attain. So providing quality education to all is possible by use of technology. So this policy advocates the extensive use of technology to make it more inclusive, to make it more equitable, to make it more engaging, to make it more entertaining.
Yes, sir.
So one has to say that all the aspects of education, may it be teaching, may it be research, may it be administration, may it be attendance, may it be maintaining the documents, everything can be technology based. So you can bring technology, next generation technology, to see that at every stage of tendering education, you can use the technology. But there are certain challenges which are needed to be handled, right? Because if you could see, there are certain issues that we need to address.
Yes, sir.
One thing, like for example, today we are facing the problem because of pandemic. We cannot go to the schools and college. Then how to conduct the examination? Recently, we could end up with the decision that Maharashtra is going to conduct the final year examinations. How these examinations are going to be conducted? Then Minister of Education is saying these examinations will be online. Now, if the examinations, I'm not actually saying anything in opposition with anybody, but if we really want to conduct the examination, then what about the limitations on the questions that we can ask? Can we ask descriptive questions? Yes, we can. We cannot ask. So all questions needs to be objective kind of. And what about today's that we could face? If there is internet disruption, then if there is power cut, then, and what about the unethical practices? How would you be confirming or observing that the students are not following any unethical practice? So until and unless we do research in technology, these problems will not be addressed. So that remains again as a responsibility of educational institutions. So the key initiatives, many things we need to do, that is physical infrastructure needs to be improved, right? Then digital divide. See, there is one thing which we call it as digital divide. What is this digital divide? There is a discrimination. Few are with full speed internet, right? Few are with limited data. So, and what about the devices, the computing devices? If until and unless we run digital campaign, Digital India campaign, you must have heard of. Until and unless we learn Digital India campaign, until and unless we make these computing devices or internet devices affordable, it will not be possible, right? Many things, like for example, when we deliver the education online, theory we can explain. What about practicals? So virtual labs are needed to be developed. Many of the technical institutions have done fantastic as far as virtual labs are concerned, but pharmacy is still lagging. So basically, there has to be generation of repositories and dissemination of digital repositories, wherein everyone needs to be trained. Like teacher, I can only teach in the classroom with blackboard. Many times we feel proud to teach students with blackboard and chalk. You know, generally we feel we say it with loud voice. I only can teach with blackboard and chalk, but how much of learning has affected with that blackboard and chalk is really something that one should think of. So these are the things which are necessarily to be addressed. Say, for example, there is this policy actually advocates to set NETF, like National Education Technology Forum. So this NETF will support us in use of technology in all the aspects of education. May it be learning, may it be planning, may it be operating, may it be administrating, may it be assessment. So there is a central authority which is supposed to be set, NATF, which will address all those issues. And it will also, because we see, basically research is possible when you have data security. We have large data, okay, and we know that what is happening, that cutting edge technologies are coming, and few of them are disruptive. So these disruptive technologies like artificial intelligence as well as machine learning, these will cause few more problems. Like there will be a job redundancies, there will be issues with skilling and de-skilling. And what about the employability if machine is doing everything? So these all issues are also needed to be addressed. So basically, integrating technology, using technology in education extensively is a need of our, and this should ensure that everyone in education, may it be teacher, may it be student, actually it is going to revolutions, and it is going to bring revolutions in higher education, revolutions in education by transforming it radically, because we all will be now addressing global issues, maybe like, you know, recently what we are facing, pandemics, maybe related with the global warming, or any of, like last year we faced the flood. Then we rarely could find clear drinkable water. So pollution and population is another issue. So if this can be addressed by the use of you know, kind of research to be done in the academic institution, then probably you could come up with newer technologies which will solve cutting edge technology disadvantages also.
So that's on this note, I can definitely say that even the virtual degrees that have been going to be given, or various virtual programs like PG diplomas, or
actually those things, sir, will be promoted. If you could come up with the digital program which will ensure that those all skills are instilled, why not?
absolutely.
It is understood that HEIs will be actually developing such programs which are highly virtual.
Yes, sir. So moving ahead, like I really want to ask you, do you think feel that implementation of this policy is going to be really very critical?
Implementation is, see, we thought of so many things. So this is not going to happen overnight. Okay. Right. So everyone has to put their own efforts. Like all stakeholders in education should honestly work together. Basically, a few of the important steps that are needed to be taken. One of that is GDP of expenditure in education, which is necessarily to be increased to at least 6%, which is right now is 4.8%.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So if you could start with that, then if you could see that technology is infused, if you could see that you are ready to fund all the activities as far as quality of higher education is concerned, may it be research, may it be administration, may it be operations being conducted, then it is possible. it is not impossible, though it is difficult. It is possible, but it actually requires the efforts being taken by multiple bodies at the same time. So multiple activities, multiple bodies will be taking, all needed to be synchronized, all needed to be systematic. So basically what is happening is Ministry of Human Resource Development will now be termed as Minister of Education. So MOU will have a highest power as far as education is concerned. MOE, Minister of Education, will set one authority called as CAB, that is Central Advisory Board in Education. Now, what is the role of this Central Advisory Board? The role of Central Advisory Board in Education will be to set the vision, not at this point of time, but whenever required, to change, to articulate, to actually modify the vision of education continuously. So this will be a role of CAB. Then Union and State Ministry will work together. It's not the responsibility of only central government, but it will be hands in hands with state governments also.
Yes, sir.
So basically Education Ministry followed by few other ministries involved with few of the central authorities and few of the state authorities all together. Similarly with boards and all. Then NTA is going to play a major role because all the qualification entrances tests will be conducted by NTA. Then regulatory body, as I said, regulatory body in school education will be Directorate of School Education, Block and District Educational Officer. Then SSSA, that is State School Standard Authority, and SQAAF, that is School Quality Assessment and Accreditation Framework. So these are the authorities as per as regulation of school education is concerned. While GEC, General Education Council, NAC, National Accreditation Council, HEGC, Higher Education Grants Council, and NHEQF, National Higher Education Qualification Framework, are going to be like authorities as far as regulation of higher education is concerned. And these authorities will work along with NCERT, SCERTs in association with all the multi-disciplinary schools and higher educational institutes and universities altogether. So basically implementation will be multi-step, but it has to follow some principle, because principle of implementation are very important. One is the spirit and intent of this policy. It has to be most important and most critical. You should understand what is the reason for which this policy is tried to be set and is supposed to be implemented. Then this implementation is going to be phase manner, stepwise. Then there has to be prioritization, means most critical, most important steps will be executed at earliest. There has to be comprehensiveness, means if somebody is wanted to have the implementation of piecemeals, the purpose will not be solved. Purpose will be only solved only if you could implement it full-fledged. Then you could also see that there has to be a proper planning and proper monitoring of whatever steps you are taken, whatever steps you are taken as well as taking, because it is going to be simultaneous. And you should be knowing or analyzing the effects of whatever steps which is already been taken. So that analysis, that cause effect, if this is done, what are the effects of it, should also be observed every time. And with the same time, government should ensure the timely infusion of all the support as per as the resources are concerned. Maybe infrastructural, maybe human resource wise, and maybe financial. So if that is done, and if we all take, may it be government, may it be central or state government, or may it be each and every stakeholder, if sincerely, honestly put their efforts, I feel that implementing this policy will also be left-handed.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Yes.
So summing up, like all the things, it all boils down to the employability, like employability enhancement. Today's graduate says that our colleges made us educated but not employable. So can I say with the assurity that national education policy implementation can make the youths graduate as well as employable?
Yeah. Basically, this is possible with serious implementation of this policy. But you should not see that I will not take any effort. Whatever the government and stakeholders of education wanted to do, let them do, and still I'll be employable. This is not possible.
Definitely.
So this is a combined responsibility of the student as well as that higher educational institution or university, to see that they're putting all that efforts, to see that those all attributes, qualification packs, as I was saying you, that you will be employable only if your qualification packs are matching with the international standards of occupation.
Yes, sir.
So if those qualification packs are there with you, how could industry will not recruit you?
Definitely.
So educational institutes along with the students should take joint efforts to see that those all attributes are been instilled in the graduate, so that he or she can be sellable. It's very simple. So employability is very small thing that this policy actually suggests. More than that, see, basically you will be like a different personality. What is the employability which is going to be left-handed?
Yes, sir.
It's what I feel.
Indeed.
But we all should do it sincerely and honestly.
Absolutely, sir. Like I can definitely say that for the youths, it is a great thing set up to make their future bright, sir.
Yes, this is an opportunity. You people are lucky. Those who are at the entry stage, maybe like those who have completed somehow, they're bad lucky, including us also. But if this is seriously been observed, and if this is successfully been implemented, whatever students will get opportunity to be take their education through this system, I'm sure that they're going to be very fortunate.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. So, like, you have cleared all my doubts that that were in my mind. But I guess there are a few more questions for you from the viewers. So quickly, I'll.
Yeah, you can take. You can take any questions. Any number of questions you can take.
Sir, like forceful implementation of mother tongue would be right in education policy. Like, what do you think? That
nothing will be forceful. Don't worry. See, nobody will force for anything. Don't worry, because see, until say for example, if you are working, say I'm a doctor, and being a say medical practitioner, I am supposed to work in a rural part of India, and if I'm not been able to converse good in local language,
right, sir.
So it will be my loss. It will be my loss. So we all should feel. We all should think broader when it comes to language, when it comes to culture. This is what we all should treasure, right? Rather than why shouldn't we take education in mother tongue? We should, because understanding is more, and वो जो अपनापन मिलता है उससे ही this particular transformation is possible.
Indeed. Agreed, sir. Completely.
Yes.
So we also have a question that multi-entry and multiple exit policy. Can you please share some more insights on that?
This is very actually
build the credibility of education?
nothing like, because now it's a challenge for us to see that we are framing this syllabus in a such a way that one year person from pharmacy should be also doing some job, will also be doing some his own and can run some his own enterprise if he could have such a knowledge. See, we have a graduate electrical engineer but could not even change the bulb.
Right, sir.
But for example, if we have education wherein, say, for example, 1 year person, he's exiting at first by completing first year only with the certificate, and if he is equally able to counsel patients on use of medicine, then so it's all like, kind of skill that you're planning to instill, or rather not only planning, but which are supposed to be instilled. Not only skills, but values, higher order skills, so that he can expedite not only as a professional but as a even responsible contributing citizen.
So here we have a really very interesting question. Like, Finland is spending around 6% of GDP on education policy, and where due to this pandemic, what the GDP India is undergoing. So will it be really possible to put out all the things that have been mentioned in education policy?
No, see, nowhere, no one have thought of this pandemic, right?
Yes.
So if at all this pandemic has happened, then see, we should not expect our life without problems, right? Tomorrow there will be some other problem, some other issue, different issues. But we should not think positive? We should.
We should, sir.
We should. So policy is with a very positive thought. And see, basically, once we decide that we are going to invest, we are going to invest. We will do whatever it is required for it. So I don't find any difficulties, even if it is pandemic, or even if any other health issues or any climate issues arise, because we have many competent things happening. We have many competent personalities who could find out the remedies on everything, like whatever the declining economy. It's not a big problem, though it is a problem. It's not a big problem, so that which can be a hurdle for implementation of this policy. Yes. It may probably delay here and there, maybe, because of at the end, without money we can't do anything. So probably just what is happening with every one of us, we were with the plan to purchase maybe like a big car, then we could not purchase it because of this pandemic. Next 6 months we may go for it. This is what is probably may happen, but still we should have a projected timeline, because and plus minus 5-10% is okay.
Do you think that NEP 2020 is a demonetization of education system?
I don't feel so. See, basically, it will be like a empowering. So if you are a private organization, and if you could convert your higher educational institution into multidisciplinary, holistic kind of higher education, which is going to be like a Samajik Chetna Kendra, it will be like a power of that area. So how could it will lead to demonetization? And it is said that it is said that if you could perform good in your area, you will be promoted to operate abroad. The only concern is money. You cannot take it away. If you earn money, then you have to invest it again in the education.
Right.
This is the only concern.
Yes,
don't take profit to the home. Invest it again in the education.
Yes. So we also have a question like this virtual education or virtual degrees. There are lots of students, they're only certificate oriented. So is it kind of beach ka rasta for them?
No, those people who actually are characterless requires character certificate. Harsh on this. For any job, we don't require certificate. For any job, we require qualification skills.
Absolutely, sir.
If I come up with a bunch of certificates with no any job qualification packs, no one will entertain me. So all of our youth should concentrate more on those educational courses which are learning oriented. If you take a course, then what level of education has or learning has affected, whether your knowledge is improved, whether your abilities, competencies are improved, whether your skills are improved. If that is what the course you have opted, then it is fantastic. Otherwise, it will be a mere like a paper for you.
Definitely, sir. Like, so personally, I believe that even most of the corporate organization ask for the experience, but what I personally